What's up, guys? How you guys doing today? Tim Wayne, Harish, Tim, how you doing tonight, bro?
Man, I'm ready to cover this news, man. We got a bomb that dropped on us, so I'm ready to cover it, dog.
We did. So this afternoon, we cruising along the internet, and I saw this video from this guy named Mike Straw of InsiderGaming.com. Mike Straw, InsiderGaming.com. And essentially, the video was about things that he'd seen from NCAA or EA Sports College Football 25.
Hmm.
Now he makes a list of things, and I'm sharing it with the fellas, and I'm like, all right, well, this is crazy. How did this guy know this stuff? And then all of a sudden, I found this video, and he actually was live on Twitch
Hmm.
earlier today, and he for an hour answered a. It's really just answering a bunch of questions
Right.
from the chat, and it ranged from things like um it ranged from things like what modes will there be, what would the recruiting be like, what is the gameplay going to be like, lots of gameplay stuff, what are some things to focus on, and really there's really a list of things here that he's listed, him personally, and then there's some other things that were mentioned that other content that other folks put out there that I kind of want to touch base on. But
Right.
before we do it, Tim, kind of what are your from what you've seen? Because I know you've seen little snippets and bits and pieces here and there. What are your kind of thoughts so far, or what you read, and how does that change the hype of what you've seen?
Listen, everything that we've been talking about consecutively, everything that we know and that have our knowledge is is basically being, I guess, I don't know. I don't want to say verified but it's just basically repositioning, regurgitating things that we've been saying for the past couple of years since they've been made the announcement. We've always known that EA Sports they've always utilized the same engine. I want to say the last engine that they used prior to this game was the Ignite engine. Um, so like
Yeah,
everything that we've known, in the past from working there to now, like it's still the same. It's still the same cog. It's still like the formula that they're utilizing is the same formula. And you know what that breeds success, right? Because at one point in time, um, you know, all the stuff that got tested out in Madden and was brought into Madden, outside of maybe hit stick, was put in college football prior
and it
to it
worked
going
better.
into Madden. Yeah, and it worked a lot
It worked
better.
better, right? I think one of the things to point out, and Mike mentions this multiple times in his video,
Yeah.
uh, is that this is the same engine, but they were able to tweak things to their
Right.
liking.
Right.
And he also mentioned a lot is eh, they are not hogtied by an organization
Right.
to do things. Well, some of the things will go in equipment. The NFL
Right.
has to approve any equipment that's put in Madden, and if the
Right.
NFL doesn't approve it, EA cannot put it
That's
in the game.
Yeah, they
That's
can't
number
put
one.
it in. Yeah.
Same thing with jerseys. Obviously, that one of the things we'll talk about that didn't make it into the game is mascot mode, right?
Mascot
Actually,
mode
not
did
not
not make
mascot
it.
mode. The ESPN experience, or what the college game day experience is going to be, and what that really looks like. I know early on, they said, "Hey, there's going to be college game day." We'll talk about what extent that is in today's video. So, um, Tim, do you want to go ahead and get started, or where would you like to start?
One thing that I would like to start off with, because I think it is a kind of a major bummer, but I understand it, is that there is no crossplay between dynasties, online dynasties.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's a
He,
big.
he
That's a
explained
big.
why.
That's a big. That's big.
Yeah. So his reasoning and what he was told, again, this is not a source that we've gotten. Mike Straw Media, follow him on Twitter. We'll reach out to him and see if we'd like to have a chat, see if there's any more information we can find out. But he basically says that um, EA did not want to sacrifice essentially the success of the mode was more important
Mhm.
than the extension and the length of the mode.
Yeah.
Um, that is basically what we'd said all the entire time. There is
Mhm.
a heavy focus on Road to Glory and Dynasty mode being successful.
Right.
That is what this game is built off of.
Right.
All their resources, all the planning, all the development, everything has gone into making sure this mode is successful.
Right.
So yeah, it's disappointing that we're not getting Dynasty mode. At the same token, I'm happy that that's the reason why we're not getting crossplay
Right.
in Dynasty.
Yeah, I'm
If you
cool with
remember
it.
in if you remember in Madden this year, the same thing happened, right? Didn't they release like cross-platform and franchise mode later?
Yeah.
I imagine that's going to be the same thing.
Right, and that's not to say that they can't play cross-platform against you and against each other in regular modes. We know that to be sure because we've seen it on both the PlayStation and we've both seen it on the Xbox where there is a cross-platform feature. So I'm going to assume that because it's not in Online Dynasty, and one thing that was never confirmed was Online Dynasty. We did know that there was a cross-platform. It also says that on the EA Sports on the EA Sports College Football website that
Yep.
there is a cross-platform feature enabled. However, it's just not an Online Dynasty. I have no problems with it if it's going to sabotage the experience day one. Um,
Yeah,
I,
it
I,
does
I,
suck.
I'm for that. Unfortunately, that happened in Madden last year. Set a lot of people back long time. One of our good guys, uh, JD, he, didn't get to experience that cross-platform feature. And he had a dynasty with 32 guys, and they played, in like a money league where each
Yeah,
year, you pay your fee to get in. You pay for your team, and then whoever wins at the end of the year, whoever Super Bowl champion gets that pot for that year, and they run all year long. So, um, you know, I'm okay with that if that is going to reduce the issues that you may have with this type of feature where it's enabled at a later date and time. I'm okay with that. I don't see any issues with that. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, me personally, all my homies I play with are on Xbox. I don't really care,
Right,
but um, because it's how it's always been this way, right? So it's not a huge adjustments for the hardcore fans, right?
right,
They know how it works. They know what it is. I think for the casual fan, it kind of sucks, right? Because it's like, man, I can play with anybody.
right,
I think the most disappointing piece of it is I have 32 guys I can play with now in NCAA, and I'm kind of halfway getting robbed of that experience because it's not crossplay.
right,
But I do understand, but I'd rather be robbed of the experience of not having the ability to do it than get the experience of having the ability to do it and it completely breaks.
right. I'm
And then now we're back in this EA did it again. Here they
Yeah,
go. I would
just
much rather
it's
this.
just a
I'd
mad
much rather them
reskin.
take this. Yeah, much
Right,
rather take them take the safe way out. Right.
right. What are your thoughts on the next feature is that there will be no mascot mode. What are your thoughts on that? I do know that that's always been like it's been a top mode, for kids. It's always been a mode, for fans that love to, do just silly stuff. Because in those mascot modes, they do like flips and different
Yeah,
type
it
of
is some crazy
things,
stuff.
and yeah, they do some off the wall type stuff. So, what are your thoughts on that not being in the game? I personally don't think that that's going to be a
I
scrub
don't
in
care.
the future.
No,
Right.
it's not.
I would not be surprised if that comes out next year. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out as an add-on later on this year. I would not be surprised in that. Maybe they just didn't have the time or the focus to really put mascot mode in there. Because again, different set of animations. You're running around with Oregon Ducks and Longhorns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I'm kind of okay with it. Again, if the mode was broken and it was available, it would be a problem. And we already know how fickle this community already is, and they haven't even seen anything or played anything. They've seen a 2-minute trailer, and that's it. So Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not too bummed out about the mascot mode. It's just a cool thing to do, right?
Right.
Sometimes, sometimes nowadays in gaming, there's certain things you do in gaming that are just it feels like a grind or it's a drain, right?
Mhm.
Um, Ultimate Team guys, you know how this works. You go through a weekend league grind. You go anytime you do anything like that,
Yeah.
picking up a mascot mode is just something chill and fun to do to like
Yeah.
chill,
Is this
right?
something to blow some steam off of? Maybe,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
waiting on somebody to get ready to go out or whatever. You just want to
Right.
get a quick match in. To me, that's what mascot mode is for. You don't want the kids like possibly going through your dynasty and ruining it, or your road to glory player like and ruining that. You throw a mascot mode, you turn the quarters up to 12 minutes, and you let them go to work until they're tired. That's
Yep.
what that's what I utilize the mascot mode for.
Yeah, for sure. So again, I think Mike mentions like 2% of the player base that ever played in any. So it's not the big of
That's not a
a deal.
big percentage.
It's a nostalgia thing, right? It's like,
Right.
oh sweet, mascot mode's back.
Yeah.
And nobody's gonna not buy the game because there's not a mascot mode. I
Right.
promise you. Right.
Right.
Um yeah, what about this next thing? Helmets may get knocked off.
Thank God that that's back.
You know what this is? This is the NCAA having no say in the game.
Right. Yeah.
This goes back to the reason why they're calling it college football.
Right. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That was a thing back in
Awesome.
the day. Like, if you hit a guy hard enough and his helmet came off, it had like a little animation. The guy would go and like put his helmet back on. I remember that specifically in like the earlier titles. So like
Way
your
early. NCAA
NCAA,
06,
yeah,
oh 05.
NCAA 06, oh five,
Yep.
between like 02 and 06. And then after that, they kind of strayed away from it. But I'm glad that it's back. Is this something that, a lot of people are going to strive for? They
Yep.
may go get that big hitter instead of that coverage guy because they want
Change
to take
recruiting.
right.
Your
Because they want to take.
scheme, recruiting changes.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think that the rule will be placed in?
I was just about to say I think it would be very cool if the rule was applied to it, right? If your quarterback's helmet gets knocked off, he's got to go down
For one play?
for one play. It's a
One
very
play.
realistic thing. Like it's
Yeah.
and then what do you do, right?
Do you,
Um,
do you run the ball and then
you
what if
kneel,
it's third and
you
long?
spike it, right? What if it's third? Yeah. What if you're in the fourth quarter? It's fourth down.
Yeah.
What do you do? Like
You gotta you that's that right
when you
there.
talk about immersion and attention to detail, this game just has so much potential. I think it has more potential than Madden because they have more freedom. These are the
Of
kinds of things
course.
we've talked about. The
Of course.
freedom that EA has with this game to be creative is there because they have. I guarantee you, there are thousands. I promise you, there are thousands of ideas that are put out there for FIFA, for Madden, we've been through them. I've seen things that are, oh, this would be dope, and then a week later you go back and look, strikes out
Yep.
because yeah, and then it'll say unapproved by the NFL,
It'd be a big
unapproved by
red
FIFA.
line that goes
Big red
through it
line.
that says, no, no, we're not doing that.
It's not happening because they're strung by the organizations that um
One thing the NFL is gonna do is they're gonna protect the shield. That's no matter what. It doesn't matter if you're a player, it doesn't matter if you're a owner, none of this matters. The NFL will do what they feel is best to protect the shield. So if they, you know, they had an issue with CTE a couple years ago, helmets getting knocked off would not have looked great in the game. Would as us as football fans, would we have liked that?
I would
Absolutely.
have loved it.
But
I
as
would have loved it.
at that time, that probably would not have gone over well with the NFL. So
I want to
um
go back real quick
okay,
before we go through this list again, because some of this list is good, some of this list is not. It's whatever, right?
right.
The most important thing that Mike said about this game, the gameplay and visual outlook of College Football 25 is amazing.
Yeah,
That is one thing that he said is amazing, and
right.
he says the reason why this is truly the first game, really, you could say in a couple of generations, that is built from the ground up on the
Mhm.
current generation.
Yeah,
There is no port. It's not even built on PC, solely built on the consoles for the consoles.
Yeah.
So people have to realize this game is going to look gorgeous. Speaking of looking gorgeous, have you played Hellblade 2 yet or started it?
No, I didn't even know that game came out. I thought it was coming out on Friday.
It looks phenomenal. But again, it's the same thing. Built from the ground up on the current generation console.
Right.
The game looks absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
The best looking game I've ever played on my Xbox Series X.
Really?
Easily the best looking game I've ever played.
Well, I do have it downloaded. Because
So
they gave you the pre-download on Game Pass. You could download it before the game come out, all that good stuff. So yeah,
very weird game, by the way. I have no idea what's going on, but I'm having a good time. It's a very cool game.
I didn't understand what was going on in the first Hellblade.
I didn't even play the first Hellblade.
Oh man, yeah, the first Hellblade is good.
From what I understand, we'll talk about it offline. But I think to that point, right? A game that is built from the ground up on one engine, it's going to play and act and look a lot better than a game it's not. They said it's not on PC, and the reason why it's not on PC is not the reasons why we think. Again, there's just a bigger focus on making sure it looks good on this console, and that's why they built it on the console. There are hopes that it will be on the PC, probably, maybe later this year, but definitely next year.
I'm okay with that.
I just wanted to call that out.
Again, I'm okay with majority of the stuff that we're seeing today. Now, this one does sting. This one stings a little bit. And I know I'm skipping over a couple of them, but this was the one that stood out the most. No College Game Day.
Yeah, let's talk about this. So
that hurt.
There's certain things, right? That one hurts. There is College Game Day aspects in the game, but it's not what we think it were. Probably what we wanted to do. They did say that the four commentators were licensed. They tried to get a deal done for College Game Day. They couldn't get the deal done in time.
Okay, so that means that
this is just time ran out.
Right. That means it's still an opportunity.
It'll be there next year.
In there. Okay.
I would be surprised not only College Game Day, but also CBS and also Fox. I think they're going to go all out next year because again, this is about pageantry, presentation. Those guys are involved in this Big Noon Kickoff,
right?
Whatever the hell crap they're going to do on Big Ten on AC. Oh, we can't call it crap anymore. Whatever awesome things SEC on CBS on Big Ten on SEC is, or whatever their network is. What network is SEC going to? We're going to ESPN, baby.
Yeah,
SEC
ESPN.
on ABC, whatever we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and the reason why I was kind of bummed out. The reason why I was bummed out about that, and that's because I wasn't going to be able to hear your boy on a Saturday afternoon.
McAfee?
Good old
McAfee
Pat.
Wasn't going to be there anyway.
I mean, but he's part of the ESPN College Game Day crew.
He's not, but all the College Game Days got licensed. The individual guys got licensed, and that's the College Game Day presence, right? Kirk Herbstreit, Reese Davis, Desmond Howard. All those games have been. All those guys are licensed.
Lee Corso.
They just couldn't get like all the ESPN like scoreboards and stuff like that. Also, my theory is if they license the ESPN stuff, they have to do things a certain way that ESPN wants. Again, you're being hogtied. Now they have some freedom on how they do things.
Okay.
So it sucks, but again, I don't think it's as deep as we're making it to be.
Okay. All right. Well, we can get back on that. That was just one that really like hurt me as a fan. Because I like the again the pageantry, the Saturday College Game Day. That's the thing, right? Saturday mornings, I wake up, I do whatever I got to do, and then I get ready for the day by starting off with College Game Day. I might play a game until they come on or whatever. But yeah, that's how I for 20 plus years, I've always looked forward to College Game Day. We've been to quite a few College Game Days over the past. So we know about the experience and what to expect.
This year I want to go to a Pat McAfee College Game Day.
Yes, I think
And we will have ample opportunities to do so. I think Texas will get 4 College Game Day games this year.
Yeah, I think Georgia versus Texas is going to be one of them ones where College Game Day will be here. Texas versus Georgia, that's going to be a thing. And who else is there? Nobody else that I could think of off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure I could think of when I, look at the schedule. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on? Well, I mean, no BCS.
I don't care.
We haven't talked about the BCS in over 10
It's
years.
been a decade. Who cares?
Yes, if you want the BCS, listen. If you
Wait
want
for
the
a mod.
listen, if you want the BCS and you don't want to spend a lot of money and you happen to have one of those older older consoles, right now I think EA Sports College Football or NCAA Football 13 is available for like $25.
Yeah.
And this
all
is
the
a game
prices
time.
of those games have been decimated.
Yeah, I mean, college football, NCAA 14 is still pretty high. It's up there in that $75 range. It was at one point in time like $190, but it's since dropped since that, since the announcement and since the trailer.
Yep.
But if you want that experience, if you don't want to spend the 75, look, $25 to get you EA Sports, NCAA 13. There goes your BCS right there. Custom playbooks. Thank God. Thank God.
This is probably the one thing that I think is the best thing I've heard about any of these updates.
Right.
Custom playbooks is huge. This is probably the biggest W of them all.
The
Now,
reason
you get custom plays. Can you have custom play? That would be crazy. I don't know if they do that, but that'd be crazy.
back in the day, they used to be. You remember, you used to be able to create a playbook and create plays. The reason why this is a big deal to me is because if there is as many playbooks as they're saying that it's going to be, you can create some off the wall stuff.
Yeah, because you can put different plays from different playbooks.
And we play with people that deep dive into playbooks and they look at different plays and things of that nature. And they might come out in something completely different for one half. They might come out regular and then open up their playbook in another half, and you might see something completely different. So for those that are, deep divers and dynasty players, and you play online a lot, this is where things get. This is a nugget for those that play the game all year. Those custom playbooks are definitely a thing. There will be a ticker at the bottom of the screen. That I think that's an added bonus. That's icing on the cake. Back then, they used to have the score breaks where like you could watch a game if somebody was on upset alert. Like,
we don't know if that's going to be a part of it.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know if that. I'm going to assume it's going to be a EA Sports broadcasting team. I'm pretty sure they're going to find a way to call it something like that. But if that's the thing, I'm glad they kept that in the game, because that again shows the authenticity of the actual game. We always catch those game breaks and stuff like that within the game, so I'm always cool to that. Am I missing something? I think
just kind of going through this list. I don't think so.
Oh, we missed one. We missed a big one. Gameplay footage coming soon.
Oh yeah. Yep.
We told you guys that. We told you that.
He said maybe this week. I wouldn't bank on that. But then he said maybe the first week of June. So it's either going to be this week or 2 weeks. Again, as Matt Brown tweeted out, there's content creators at the EA studios this week. They flew out there. We'll see what happens when they're out there.
They're gonna. I feel like what is going to
the embargoes can be lifted very soon.
I think the embargoes are going to be lifted. I think players are going to be able to, or not. I'm sorry, not players. the influencers that they have out there are going to be able to make their video games. They're going to be able to, or not to make their video games. They're going to be able to make their videos, and then from there, they'll release that information or allow that information to be released per embargo. Once that embargo is lifted, everybody's going to drop their information, and we're going to find out more information. So, me personally, this is how I believe it's going to go. Harish, you could chime in. I believe you would probably agree with me. They'll probably, if there's not some type of cover newsletter to be released on what is and what's not in the game, then I would say probably around that, if not next week, or not if not this week, then next week, we'll probably see some type of gameplay trailer. And then after that, the influencers would, because then at that point we're in June, right? We'll be a month out. Then you will see the influencers start to drop this information more. And I mean, I don't think it's going to be one or two influencers. I'm thinking 15, 20 influencers dropping this information bit by bit. It may be the same thing, but also they may get, MMG might get Ultimate Team. You might see MMG doing Ultimate Team. I don't know how good or what relationship that Eric Mayweather may have with them. Eric Mayweather might dive into recruiting or customization. So I believe you'll start to see that information trickle out like that.
Do you know how I know what content creators are there?
They're tweeting. Oh, their locations are on.
No, if you just go to YouTube and see who's been posting videos this week and who hasn't, that normally posts a lot of videos, you'll have a pretty good idea. MMG is a shocker that he's been.
The relationship
have not have a great relationship.
No, they don't.
So I'm very surprised. I'm very happy, but very surprised that they're working together again.
I'll give. Listen, I'm not a big fan of a lot of the influencers that they partnered up with. There are some out there that I do like. One thing that I do like about MMG is that MMG,
he's real.
He just wants the game to be good. And I'm okay with that. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. No matter what relationship he may sever or salvage, with passing out that information. I remember a couple years ago, he simply tweeted out like, EA and I don't have a relationship anymore because of me, and how crucial I've been about their game. But he's just like, at the end of the day, I'm just an ex-football player that wants a great game. And I can't even get mad at that.
He's also hilarious.
No, he's funny. He's pretty
funny. He's funny as hell. So
he's funny.
MMG's last video was 3 days ago, and he started Will of 2K. So
yeah, and he usually posts
every day.
Yeah, so if not about he does some type of game. Madden.
Eric is there. C4 is probably there because he's a big Dynasty guy.
Yeah.
Obviously, Matt Brown's there. He tweeted out earlier today. He told us last week that he was going to be there. So, yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of huge content creators there. Bengals probably going to be there.
Yeah,
Bengals also going to be.
I hope I really hope like Shopmaster. He's been around for a long time. He's been heavily pretty heavy in the Madden community. I hope that he gets an opportunity to get out there as well, just because of how he puts out really good content. Extremely professional, extremely good guy. But yeah, moving on. Is there something that I missed? Anything else that I missed so far?
Yes, there's something I do want to point out.
Okay.
I literally just thought about it in my head and then I forgot it. I was looking at something and I thought about it.
Okay.
Team Builder. There, he said that obviously Team Builder's in the game. There were some questions asked about if Team Builder is going to be released before the game comes out. And yes, the answer is yes. They're trying to make it so that you can get a hold of Team Builder sometime either late June or early July.
That would be fantastic because that used to be a thing. That used to be a thing. Yeah. That used
2
to
weeks
be
before the game.
Yeah, it would come out maybe earlier than that, maybe 2 weeks, maybe more. before the game. And you know, a lot of people, what they would do is they would create their teams online, save it, and then once they got to the game, they would be able to upload that. Um, Again, I really hope, you know, and Matt has already shared this, that they're really, 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 really heavy on creation and customization. And
Yes,
with that being said, that like that's to
that's
me,
cool.
that's what saves the game. That's what continues to give the game life as the college football season's over, as recruiting's over, as the Under Armour All American game is over, as the Senior Bowl is over. Like
Yep.
that to me is what creates the longevity of the game.
Yep.
So yeah,
And then two more things. There are animations in this game that will not be in Madden. I
it's
think
always
that's
been like that.
awesome. Yep. Always been that way.
Always been like that.
Again, it goes back to what the NFL will and will not allow. So
Right.
you will probably see a lot of animations in this game that like I've never seen that before, because it's intentional.
Yeah.
Um, uh, Road to Glory, they're wanting Road to Glory and Dynasty to be like very replayable. In Road to Glory, you will be able to do things like transfer portal. You will have some sort of NIL thing that you can be a part of. They're
Right.
trying to make it to where you're not just trying to be a good player on the field, like you're trying to build a brand, you're trying to do a thing. The one thing that is unclear in both modes is, can anything get moved over into Madden? We do not know yet. We're
Yeah,
still
we
trying to
don't
figure
know
it
that.
out.
We don't.
And then finally, the only thing I know um that I think is important to mention. Substitutions, you'll have deeper substitution packages,
Yep.
which I think is important, especially in an online dynasty. Um, this is not going to be a bare bones game. This is a game that's built from the ground up. They will be releasing one every single year. So things that did not make it into this year's game, I guarantee you, they're already working on next year's game.
Oh yeah.
So
We know that.
probably
We
even
we
27 or 26
we know that.
or 27.
If there's already talks, I'm pretty sure
At
they've
least the
already probably
planning
got.
phase on what they're doing, yeah.
Yeah, they've already, you know, it's probably not, it's probably still on whiteboard right now, but
Yep.
I would not be surprised by August, by at least August, that things are starting to be put into play. Right now, it's on a whiteboard. I can tell, we can both verify that. Right now, everything is
Yeah.
on a whiteboard. Um,
All
Everything's
the
on.
things that didn't, yeah, and they basically what they do is they start from this year. What didn't make it in the game, they
Right.
put it on this, a project board, whiteboard, whatever you want to call it, and think about what things do we want to add to it. You have to understand how they're not going to have as many developers as they've had the last 3 to 4 years to build the game. That development team's probably going to shrink, right? Um, and maybe one, I don't know.
Right.
But then they basically come in and say, what do we want? What don't we want? What's most important? What's least important? And they literally, and then that's where they start. They before they even start building out what the game looks like, and then they go in and they say, okay, we want mascot mode. What are the things that we want to have in mascot mode? Well, I want to be able to do all the same things in the regular game. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do that. We should do this and that. Whatever they want, and then they start deep diving into it. So
Right.
yeah, planning for next year probably has already started, at least at the leadership level, to understand what they're trying to accomplish for next year's game.
Most definitely.
I like this. The one thing I did like is there's almost no talk about Ultimate Team, and I
Yeah. I
like
mean,
that.
'cause listen, as an ultimate team guy, none of that matters. We know what ultimate team is. We know how it operates. We've been
That's
around
true.
ultimate team for 12 years. They're Unless it's something like extremely different, I don't care.
I
Like
can see them doing some interesting things with Ultimate. Again, they're not hogtied by the NFL, so I can see them doing
absolutely,
some interesting things.
absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I'm 100% on that. However, outside of the only thing I'm interested in is who are the 134 players that I'm going to be able to choose from.
Yeah,
That's all.
fair enough. No, that's
That's
fair.
all. That's all I care about. Everything
Fair enough.
else, the auction block, the card animation, I don't give a shit about any of that. Excuse my
Fair enough.
French. Sorry for
Yep.
cussing, but that's all I care about. Who are the 134 players that are going to be in this game at launch? because that is a lot of players to choose from. You
Yeah, it
start
doesn't
out,
sound like a lot, but when you think that you only have 22 guys, right? Um, on each team to begin with, and it definitely will be interesting to know
yeah.
um, who it is. Um, but yeah, I mean, anything else you want to add?
I do want to talk about two things. That to me again, or things that stuck out. As soon as you sent me this information, two things that stuck out. 5-star players will feel completely different than 2-star players. Thank
Oh
God.
yes, yes.
Thank God.
Thank God, yes. But what I'm concerned, this is what I'm not understanding. I want to hear more,
I'm
right?
pretty sure.
And
I'm
let me tell you why.
okay. Go ahead.
A 5-star player will feel significantly different from a 2-star player. What does that really mean? So if I recruited a 5-star player, you recruited a 2-star player, but in 2 years your 2-star player is just as good as my 5-star player because of progression. They shouldn't play differently.
I think we're looking at. I think you're looking at that as a literal like. I think you're looking at that from a literal standpoint. I think the base game, right? When we first start that year, the difference between that 5-star and that 2-star is going
Of
to be
who's on the
different.
current roster,
Right,
or who whatever freshman you get, a 5-star will be different from a 2-star.
right. I
Gotcha.
think
So
that's I think
my 2-star DB has 45 speed, your 5-star DB has 80 speed. There's going to be a difference.
right,
Fair enough.
right.
Okay. That's how it should be, right?
That's
That's
the
why they
only
rate them that way.
right. But I feel like if you're 2-star, you start working with your 2-star gets some interceptions, starts to get some tackles, maybe pick up some forced fumbles, pass breakups. He can eventually
Oh,
catch up to that
grow. Yeah.
5-star.
He
Yeah, he
develops
can
into
grow.
something. Yeah.
He can grow.
That's fair.
And then
That's
that 2-star will be different from that 2-star and maybe even that 5-star that is just now coming in as a true freshman.
true.
So
Fair enough.
I think it's more literal than what we think it is.
Okay. No, but that's how it should be. That is realistic.
Right. And then the last thing that is on that list, and if you have anything else, please let me know. Way more equipment than Madden. This goes back to exactly what you said. When you
Yeah.
don't happen to have a leash on the on a game, or you don't happen to have this giant overseer that says yes, no, you can do this, yes, no, you can do that. One thing that we did see in the trailers, we saw the rolled up jerseys. We saw that. We saw the pants that are above the kneecap,
And
which is just basically people not putting in knee pads and folding them up under their thigh pad. Um,
yep.
then you have what was something else? The untucked jersey, which has always
Yeah,
been
Doug
my
Jersey.
favorite thing. The untucked jersey. We've
The
seen the
the
Nike.
the, the
We've
jersey
seen them
beneath the t-shirt underneath the jersey
right.
comes out
The
longer.
Nike socks.
Yep.
We've seen the Air Jordans. We've seen the dunks. With
The
Jalen Milrow had on dunks, if I'm not mistaken, or Jordans. I think it was Jordans. But yeah, that's what happens.
the open paddings, the open
Oh
back
yeah,
pad
the back plate
with the
being
logos on
open.
them, the
Yeah.
back plates.
Yep. Yep.
And
So
I
that's a
heard
good.
somewhere, I don't know if you can confirm this. I read somewhere ski masks.
Yes, I have
I
seen that.
don't remember seeing it in the trailer. I've checked the trailer multiple times,
I haven't
but
seen that.
somebody said you can wear the ski masks.
Now here's the thing. I and this is gonna sound. I'm gonna sound really old right now. I'm gonna age myself. If you're in Miami, Florida, you don't need no fucking ski mask. You just don't.
Oh
You
yeah, for
You don't
sure.
need to be wearing those ski masks in Miami, Florida. Like I don't want to see that. Now, if
Yep.
you're in Michigan and Donovan Edwards is playing against Ohio State and it's snowing outside and you want to put a ski mask on him,
You should be able to.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, that makes sense. Let's listen. I know people are walking around with the shiesties and whatever. Dog, just if you're in Florida and it's September, you don't need no freaking shiesty on, bro. If you're in California, do you really need a shiesty? No, but if you're in
Yeah, Northern
October,
California, you might.
yeah, Northern California, if you go up and you happen to play Washington State or Washington and it's September and it's 40 degrees and it's raining, cool. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Well, other than that, man, this has been a lot of information to drop. Go ahead.
Dynamic weather. For the first time, you'll be able to have dynamic weather. Now, we don't know to what extent. Like, could it start raining in the middle of a game? That would be lit.
Yeah. So we did have dynamic weather before, but not as in detail as this is sounding.
Yeah. If it is what I'm hoping it is, like, could you go to Michigan in December? It starts to get really snowy, or it starts to get cold, and then it starts snowing in the middle of the game.
That would be
And
dope.
then the commentators are, hey, it's starting to snow here. Let's see how the game changes.
Right.
Whatever they say.
That could, because if
I think that's more of a next year thing, but that would be fire, even if like a base element.
One thing that's always been dope about college football and even the earlier Maddens is that the weather would always play a factor in those games, right? So, I remember one year, I can't remember what Madden it was, but like you would be running and then your receiver could slip.
Yep.
And then, coming out of his break, he could slip and you could end up throwing the ball either, off and the play be dead, or you could turn the ball over. Like that was a big thing. So I don't necessarily know how that's gonna go. If that is a situation, like it is going to do a lot for it could potentially, change your scheme. Because if you got a team full of guys that are just running around and they're really fast, and they're out in Michigan and it starts to snow, and then you don't happen to have the same grip or you have to change, like that would be dope. Like I'm really hoping that is a thing because that's
Where you
that
have to
is a
change
real.
like your shoes or like your look.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think that
I
that
don't think
doesn't make
I don't
sense.
necessarily think about changing, not necessarily changing shoes, but like it could change the game. Like
Oh yeah. Now I will say that in a road to glory, if you could like change your shoes because you're only controlling one player,
that'd be dope.
that would be cool.
I
I
love
don't
that.
see it
I
being
love that.
that deep.
You
That would
could
be kind of
I
lit
could
though. That'd be
like
kind of
could
fun.
you imagine, think of it like this, right? Think like let's say you're Donovan Edwards. You're doing a road to glory, you're Donovan Edwards, right? You're playing against Penn State. It starts to snow. You have 75 rushing yards, right? And let's say you have a goal, because this is what they used to have in the old road to glories. You had a goal, right? Let's say
Yep.
your goal for this week was 101 rushing yards against whoever, Penn State. You got 75. It starts to snow. So then they give you you end up with a Heisman moment or a road to glory moment where it says,
Yep.
"Hey, listen, it's starting to snow. You have 75 yards. It's the third quarter going into the fourth quarter. Do you want to change your shoes but lose speed, or keep your same shoes but lose route running, or lose
Composure or whatever.
or
Yeah.
lose confidence, or lose whatever, but you're able to keep the other things? Or maybe it affects, maybe it's like you change your shoes, you lose speed, but your carrying goes up.
Yeah.
Or you keep the same shoes on, but your carrying goes down, or your
Yep.
juking goes down. Like these are the type of scenarios that you mentioned that you can play with when you have that, when you don't have an entity over you like
Yep.
the NCAA.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be that deep this year. That'd be cool. I think,
That'd be
but as
dope.
this game progresses, like year to year, stuff like that is exactly what what games like this need, to be able to continue to be successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. Those are the last two things. Um, we will do another video like this, once Team Builder comes out that is outside of our normal show, just so that we can make sure for the college football EA Sports college football fans that we get you guys a more deeper dive into some of the things we're seeing and hearing, and give you our thoughts.
Heck yeah.
Well, Tim, anything else you got, man?
Um, no. There's one thing that I want to talk to you about, but I want to ask after the fact. We'll talk about it after we get off
Okay.
air, because I don't necessarily know, but I want to see if you can do, you're good at networking, so I want to see if
Okay.
you can pull some strings. So no,
Sure.
other than that, remember guys, to follow us at fanbattlesports.com. Make sure that you follow us on Twitter at Longhorn Fan Battle. You can find my guy over there.
Yep.
You can find my guy over there at the Uncle Gandhi. You can find
Yeah.
me at Twitter at Tim Wayne. Make sure you guys continue to follow us on Longhorn Fan Battle. Listen, we're getting closer and closer to media Big 12 media days, SEC media days, Power 5 media days. That is going to be a thing. We'll definitely want to keep you informed on that. It's July is not that far away, 6 weeks away.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
We are almost there, guys.
we're almost there.
We are
In the
almost there.
meantime, we've got major recruits coming in here within the next couple of weeks as well. We're still, things are starting to heat up with this Decorian Moore and other receivers possibly coming in and committing to the University of Texas. So as that stuff breaks, we'll continue to give you that information. So just make sure you guys continue to follow us. Also make sure that you again check out fanbattlesports.com if you're looking to start a podcast at yourself for yourself, or you have a group of friends, y'all just want to shoot the shit about sports. Go to fanbattlesports.com, hit the contact email, send an email, let them know what you're trying to do so that we could get you associated and taken care of in the right way so that we can get you on your feet and bring you onto the Fan Battle Sports family. Harish, do you happen to have anything?
No, all the above. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on TikTok, follow us on everything. We are riding high. We are almost at 50 followers on YouTube.
Right.
Almost at 50 followers on TikTok. So help us get there. Guys, we are going to be doing a giveaway for this game.
Yeah.
We're going to figure out probably most likely be a digital copy of the game. We'll just send you
Right.
a little gift card. But
Yep.
that'll be something we will figure out later.
Yep.
But that's all I got, man.
Yeah.
So,
one more thing, and then we can cut out of here. RIP to the Frank Irwin Center, man.
Shout out.
Yeah, RIP to the Frank Irwin Center.
What about
I've had a lot of good times at the Frank Irwin Center. Did a lot of community service at the Frank Irwin Center as a kid growing up. So to see that the drum is not there, it does leave a small hole in my heart. However, the Moody Stadium, Moody Center is a beautiful, beautiful specimen of a building, state-of-the-art specimen of a building, and I look forward to seeing UT continue to dominate, hopefully with them basketball. Hopefully we get to a point to where those volleyball games are not able to be contained in that small stadium that they're playing in, and that they move over to the Moody Center. But yeah, RIP to the Frank Irwin Center. Love you, miss you. 1977 to 2024 was a good ride. It was a good ride.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
Almost 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
All righty. Well, hey, until next time, my name's Harish. That's my guy, Tim. Peace.
To Gabriel.